From our studio in Georgetown, this is the TV Delmarva Channel 14 News at 4.
Good day, Delmarva. Reporter Rob Petrie here for TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Straight ahead, legislation has been introduced to ensure that both sides of the aisle have their bills heard in the state legislature. Governor Carney has announced a $16 million investment for vulnerable Delawareans, and a Millsboro man has been arrested after police say he stole a vehicle and was caught with drugs in Dagsboro. These stories and more coming up, but weather first with Hunter Alton.
Hello and good Wednesday afternoon, Delmarva. We had a little bit of some rain move through the area last night and even sparking a few isolated thunderstorms here and there. And once that cold front moves through, we definitely seen a big difference in those temperatures across the region today. But at least the good news is we got to see a lot more sunshine. There is a little bit of some fair weather cumulus clouds out there. Taking a live look outside of TV Delmarva studios here in Georgetown. We got the sunshine, we have the passing clouds, but there is an awful lot of wind out there, as you can see with the shaking on the camera this afternoon. Currently 57 degrees here in Georgetown. Take a look at some satellite and radar. You can see that stream of those fair weather cumulus clouds stretching all the way from Pennsylvania down to our neck of the woods. Now, once we get closer into the sunset time period, a lot of these clouds will begin to diminish, and we're going to be left with some mostly clear skies overall tonight, but those winds will not be going anywhere, and we're going to be looking at a fairly chilly night here on the shore with temperatures you would probably see more in January rather than April. Let's have a look at what else is going on here on Delmarva this afternoon with the temperatures. First off, right now, 58 degrees in Salisbury, 60 degrees for Pocomoke City, 57 in Ocean City, 58 for Easton, 57 for Centerville, 56 in Dover, and 54 degrees up north in Wilmington and Newark. Definitely a big noticeable difference from this time yesterday where we were seeing widespread areas of 70s. We're also seeing some fairly dry conditions for the most part too. Humidity values across the shore stretching anywhere between about 35 and 45%. No surprise with all that wind that's blowing out there. And speaking of the wind, take a look at current sustained winds across the region, generally from the northwest between 10 and 20 miles per hour sustained, but we have been seeing some wind gusts at times get 30, even 35 miles per hour this afternoon. Currently gusting to 30 miles per hour in Salisbury, 29 here in Georgetown, 24 miles per hour in Easton, 26 for Dover, and even areas of 31 in Newark, and just across the bay towards Westminster, currently gusting to 40 miles per hour. Now, like I mentioned, we do have some fairly chilly weather on the way tonight, and those winds are not really going to be going anywhere, but at least the good news is we got a nice warm up on the way for this weekend and some more rain chances for the start of next week. I'll have all those details in your pinpoint forecast here in just a little bit.
Legislation has been introduced to ensure that both sides of the aisle have their bills heard and considered in the state legislature. The bills were introduced by State Rep Brian Shoup and would help ensure that GOP-sponsored legislation is considered in the General Assembly. Now, we got a chance to sit down with Representative Shoup, who tells us why the bills are important for both sides.
I found out from the House Admin Committee that when a majority member sponsors a bill, it was heard 86% of the time. Now, on the flip side, when a minority member in the House of Representatives went to the House Admin Committee, it was only heard 38% of the time. So huge swing in what we're seeing there. And we're seeing the suppression of bills from minority sponsored individuals in the House of Representatives. So for me, that says that politics is playing over policy. We have rules within the House rules that are voted on the first day, every single day by all 41 of us. And it is something that those rules are for the people's house. And those numbers for me mean that Delaware lawmakers are actively suppressing good policy by actively ignoring those rules of the people's house. And that needs to change. And that's why I decided to first have public education and let people know that this is not campaign rhetoric, but it is actual substantiated numbers of showing politics over good policy. And then second of all, there are two bills that are being introduced. They will be introduced on the first day. They're in draft form right now, and they're going around for sponsorship. They will be introduced actually on the first day of next session, because that's when the rules are created, and that's when they have
So not when you come back, but next January.
Correct. So
Okay.
these bills are around for sponsorship right now. But the trouble with getting them done right now is that they have to go through that House Admin Committee, which again cannot hear them in the committee or put them in the desk drawer veto. So I think the best bet that we have is to circulate them now, get them on sponsorship, and have them voted on the first day when we vote on those rules. And
Governor Carney has announced a $16 million investment for vulnerable Delawareans. The governor was joined by Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long and the Department of Services for Children, Youth, and their families at a press conference on Tuesday, where they all announced a $16 million investment to renovate and remodel Wharton Hall.
It's our responsibility to meet them where they are and help them to be successful in life, and that's certainly what all of you do every single day. We're here to announce a capital project, frankly, that will help you do your job and do it better. Lastly, I want to thank Secretary Manning, who's been an incredible advocate for all of you. My cabinet secretaries make weekly reports to me, and almost on a weekly basis, no, guaranteed on a weekly basis, she includes something in there advocating for the needs of her staff and the employees of the department, whether it's higher salaries, better working conditions, better targeted services for the children and youth that you help every day. And this project, it fits right in there in that category. You all have seen a change in the needs, particularly of our teenage youth, I think, and others, and that are not being met with the facility that we have at the Delaware Health and Human Services campus across the county, that will be better served in the building that we're going to rehab using those ARPA funds from the federal delegation to rehab this building, one of the earlier buildings on this campus.
Now, the goal of the investment is to add more in-state crisis beds and create a state-of-the-art trauma-informed behavioral health diagnostic center to meet the complex needs of adolescents. Funding for the project was provided by the American Rescue Plan Act. Meanwhile, Delaware State Police have arrested a man who they say stole a vehicle and was caught with drugs in Dagsboro. According to Delaware State Police, around 3:30 p.m. Saturday, troopers on patrol in Dagsboro witnessed a black Mercedes C300 traveling at a high rate of speed northbound on Iron Branch Road in the area of Bunting Road. Troopers initiated a traffic stop on Colonial Estates Avenue just east of Iron Branch Road and made contact with the driver, later identified as 30-year-old Arkeem Adkins. Police say a strong odor of marijuana could be smelled coming from inside the vehicle. A search of the car led to the discovery of approximately 0.78 grams of marijuana. A computer inquiry revealed that Adkins had a suspended driver's license and an active warrant out for his arrest. Computer checks also revealed that the Mercedes was reported stolen back on April 21st of this year. Adkins was arraigned on a slew of charges and committed to the Sussex Correctional Institution on $500 secured bond. Coming up, the 22nd annual DEA Prescription Drug Take-Back Day will take place later this week here in Delaware. More details on the way. Don't go away. Well, Delaware will hold its 22nd National DEA Prescription Drug Take-Back Day on Saturday, April 30th. Delawareans can discard their expired or unused medications at locations statewide between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. There will also be sharps disposals for needle disposal at select locations and overdose response education, including free Narcan, available as well. Organized nationally by the Drug Enforcement Administration, Prescription Drug Take-Back Day is operated locally by the Division of Public Health. The twice-a-year event is aimed at reducing the risk of prescription medications being diverted for misuse and has resulted in nearly 100,000 pounds of medication being collected since 2010. Well, it's looking like we're in store for chilly and windy conditions tonight as we get a preview of your pinpoint weather forecast with Hunter Alton.
Sunny and breezy conditions will continue throughout the rest of the afternoon hours as an area of high pressure begins to settle in for the rest of this week. We are in store for a rather chilly night, similar to what we would see during the winter months, with more sunny skies on the way for Thursday and more of the way of those windy conditions as well. But the good news is a nice warm-up is on the way for this weekend. Now, just how cold is it going to get tonight? I'll let you know when we come back here on TV Delmarva, Channel 14 News. All right, everybody, let's get right into the pinpoint forecast for the overnight hours into the day on Thursday. And we're going to be in for a fairly chilly night in store, making it not seem like April whatsoever. Not only that, we got mostly clear skies, but take a look at these temperatures tonight. 35 to 38 degrees across the region. And the wind is going to be a big factor in that tonight. From the northwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour with some gusts as high as 30 at times. And the combination of the cooler temperatures and those winds, we're going to be having wind chills dipping down below the freezing mark into the upper 20s, something that we normally see during the winter months here on Delmarva. But the good news is this is going to be relatively short-lived, because in the next couple of days towards the weekend, we got a warming trend once again. Take a look at Futurecast, rest of the overnight hours into the day on Thursday. This is 8 o'clock this evening. We still got plenty areas of mostly clear skies. Temperatures have already fallen down into the upper 40s to about 50 degrees. Maybe a little bit of cloud cover left over towards the northern portions of the shore. But once we get into the heart of the overnight hours, we got mostly clear skies, maybe some clouds right along the immediate coast. But temperatures have already fallen down into the upper 30s for the most part for areas north of Georgetown. It's near about 40 degrees here in Salisbury and Pocomoke City. Waking up tomorrow morning, though, this is where we're going to be seeing the coolest temperatures overall. Mid 30s for the most part, and even right along the coast at Ocean City, only at 35 degrees, and with the strongest winds too. When you factor in, this is the forecasted apparent temperatures waking up tomorrow morning. Widespread areas of upper 20s, 28, 27 degrees, and even 30 down in Pocomoke City. So I hope you didn't put those winter coats away just yet, because you're going to need them once you head out the door tomorrow. But at least the good news is going into the afternoon hours tomorrow, we are going to be looking at another cooler day, but still fairly comfortable for the most part. Temperatures getting back into the 50s, and not even a single cloud in the sky on a Futurecast, and that will even be continuing into the evening hours as temperatures are dropping back to near 50 degrees right at sundown. Take a look at Thursday forecast overall. Although we are going to be having plenty of sunshine, it's going to be another cooler day here on Delmarva. Afternoon highs of 55 to 58 degrees. The winds are still going to be a factor in tomorrow's forecast from the northwest, 15 to 20 miles per hour, with some gusts as high as 30 at times. And of course, you know, when the wind picks up, our allergy index is once again for Thursday, very high conditions, 10.6 out of 12. And you guessed it, tree pollen once again from oak, ash, and birch trees going into Thursday. Now let's take a look at the marine conditions going into Thursday, though, beginning with the Atlantic. Plenty of sunshine, 54 degrees. Very gusty winds from the northwest at 20 to 25 miles per hour, with seas right around 2 to 3 feet. Take a look at the Delaware Bay. We got sunny skies as well, 56 degrees. Winds from the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour, with seas of 1 to 2 feet. And then the Chesapeake Bay. Sunny skies, 61 degrees. Winds from the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. And you can expect seas of 1 to 2 feet there on the Chesapeake. Now, going into the overnight hours tomorrow night, we are going to be looking at nice crystal clear skies and another cooler night in store too. Temperatures 35 to 39 degrees, but at least the good news is we are going to be having those winds calm down from the northwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour. And with the winds calming down and temperatures this low, we have to watch out for a potential frost threat. So if you have outdoor plants that are frost sensitive, make sure to cover them up, or if you're able to bring them inside just in case if these temperatures happen to be getting close to that 35 degree mark, and that's cold enough for frost to be laying outside. Now let's take a look at that extended outlook, because of the next couple of days we're still going to be looking at some very dry conditions. Friday finishing out this week slightly warmer, lower 60s and mostly sunny skies. Now going into this weekend, it's actually going to be looking quite nice, warming temperatures back into the mid and upper 60s, partly sunny on Saturday. Sunday though, during the daytime hours, it's going to be dry and it's going to be sunny, but once we get into the later portions of the overnight hours throughout Monday and Tuesday, we will introduce the rain chances with another storm system moving through, bringing a cold front. But temperatures by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week will be back into the mid-70s with mostly cloudy skies by the midweek.
Coming up, over 120,000 pounds of ground beef has been recalled for a possible E. coli contamination. More details straight ahead. Keep it here. Over 120,000 pounds of ground beef has been recalled for a possible E. coli contamination. The potentially affected meat was packaged by Lakeside Refrigerated Services in New Jersey. Officials say the ground beef in question was produced sometime between February 1st and April 8th. The recalled meat was then distributed to locations across the country. The affected brands include Thomas Farms, SC Grocers Naturally Better, Tajima, Market Side Butcher, and Wise by Nature. So far, no one has reported any illnesses related to the recall.
Weather Classroom is sponsored by No Nonsense Office Machines, committed to providing quality products and services with over 15 years of experience here in Sussex County. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, on a special edition of Weather Classroom today, we revisit one of the darkest days in weather history just 11 years ago today, the super outbreak of April 27, 2011. Now, this was also called the tornado super outbreak of 2011, which had a series of tornadoes from April 26 to 28 back in 2011 that affected parts of the southern, eastern, and central United States and produced particularly severe damage in the state of Alabama. It was one of the largest outbreaks of tornadoes ever recorded, confirming at least 360 tornadoes across 15 states from Texas to New York State. The majority of those tornadoes occurred on this day on April 27th. With many high-end EF4 and EF5 tornadoes that occurred across the Gulf states, in particular the state of Alabama, with that morning suffering destructive thunderstorms within a line that knocked out many television and internet providers. Little did we know what was to come later on that day that will be remembered for many years to come. A devastating outbreak of violent tornadoes ripped across the nation, affecting millions of people, some of which who lost their lives across Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Coleman, and Hackleburg, Alabama. 348 people lost their lives on that day from this outbreak, with 253 of them alone in the state of Alabama, ranging from ages 3 to 91 years old. This is why it is very important to have multiple ways of getting weather alerts to make sure you are covered during severe weather. Cell phones are a start, but that's not the most reliable way of getting audible alerts. Tornado sirens are only heard if you're outside of your home, and many locations here on Delmarva don't even have those in general. The best way is with a NOAA weather radio in your home that sounds a tone and provides you with directions on what to do in a weather disaster. Now, we only have a few days left this month for this giveaway of 3 Midland USA WR120B weather radios, so make sure you're on the website, tvdelmarva.com, and on the homepage you can find how to enter. The drawing will be done on May 2nd, just after our 4 p.m. newscast. And we will never forget those 348 people that lost their lives during this event.
Well, that about does it for us today, Delmarva. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at TV Delmarva and on our website, tvdelmarva.com, for real-time news and weather updates. And while you're there, be sure to sign our petition calling on the major cable providers to carry TV Delmarva on their platforms so we can provide this kind of local programming to all of Delmarva. Until next time, I'm Rob Petrie reporting for TV Delmarva Channel 14 News.